All right, let's get this party started. Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're safe, staying home. All right, let's get this party started. Staying healthy. Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to my kitchen slash living room. Staying home. All right, let's get this party started. Staying healthy. Everybody, hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to my kitchen slash living room. Staying home. All right, let's get this party started. Everybody, hope everybody's doing well. Trying to do my kitchen slash living room. Staying home. All right, let's get this party started. Everybody, hope everybody's doing well. Trying to do my kitchen slash living room. Staying home. All right, let's get this party started. Everybody, hope everybody's doing well. Trying to do my kitchen slash living room. Staying home. All right, so everybody, hope everybody's doing well. Trying to do my kitchen slash living room. Staying home. All right, so everybody, hope everybody's doing well. Trying to do my kitchen slash living room. All right, so everybody, everybody's doing well. Trying to do my kitchen slash living room. All right, so everybody, everybody's doing well. Trying to do my kitchen. All right, my lovely wife just came downstairs and told me I was repeating everything over and over. So hopefully this works. If it's not working, someone send a little message in the chat or whatever it is. I'm going to shut the stream off there and we'll start it that way. Couple acknowledgments to start off. You guys hopefully got all pizza from Charlie's Pizza. They were really awesome working with us. Tried to give you guys some kind of semblance of a normal banquet, get you guys some food for tonight. I know last week they mistakenly delivered some pizza to a couple of houses, so if you were one of the lucky ones, you got 2 Fridays of pizza. But wanted to make sure you guys got something to eat while you're watching. Have a nice, relaxing Friday night, and go from there. So the second acknowledgement I want to make is to our athletic department. You can see behind me, we did something really, really cool, and I'll go over it later for our seniors, and they let us do that. They let us kind of work on a special project for everybody and give the seniors something cool to go off with. It's just, you know, this freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, you guys didn't get to go back to school, but the seniors really got, kind of kicked in the teeth this year, and with everything that's going on, just to kind of try and do something really neat for them. So I'll go over what's behind me. It's pretty obvious it's behind me, but we'll go over that in a little bit. But just a couple of acknowledgments and shout outs I wanted to give before we get started. A couple of thank yous to our managers, our freshman managers, Makai and Kenya, our JV and kind of JV and varsity, Jamie and Allie, and our varsity girls, Ariana and Haley. They were really, really awesome all year. Didn't miss anything. If they did, they would always let us know and get a replacement and help, whatever it is. Makai, who was the freshman manager, helped out with the varsity at the end of the year, so just wanted to give a shout out to them just to get some recognition, because they really, really helped us out big time with iPads and stats and books and film and all that. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. My second thank you is going to go out to our parents. Taking over a program for the first time, you don't know what you're going to get. You could get people who don't help, people who want to do too much, and really, I can say God's honest truth. Our parents were awesome this year. You guys came to everything, supported us. Student faculty game was phenomenal. I had never seen anything like that in my experience coaching and being in the high school. That was really, really awesome. Raised a ton of money for our program. Pretty much took care of everything tonight. Our senior gifts, our pizza, our uniforms, our warm-ups, did everything really, really well for us this year. The snack stand was awesome. Anybody who helped out with that, donated, spent your time, whether it was last minute, I needed help, or you guys donated, whatever it was, that was really, really awesome. It's important to bring that back for us as we go forward. Keep doing that so we get fundraising. We can put this, hopefully, a real banquet together next year and for years to come. That was really, really awesome. So parents, thank you so much. Getting kids to practice, this, that. Our schedules are always changing, so thank you so much for just kind of being an integral part of our program and what we're trying to do. Okay. My third and last thank you is going to go out to my coaching staff, and to go through them quickly. Hopefully they're watching. They should be, but you never know. our freshman coach, Coach Arminio, when I had got the job in the spring, I had known Coach Arminio for a long time. I really wanted him to stay on. Has a young guy, a ton of energy, wants to learn, wants to be a good coach, wants to be a great coach, and really, really helped out. Really, really grew this year as a person, as a coach. I made him sit the bench for us. He was our iPad guy, great with the stats, and it's really important to keep certain specific stats for us using that iPad and seeing plus minus and certain analytical parts of the game that I think the game is trending in that direction. And he really grew as a coach, and we had a moment when we were playing Brick on the road, and just to preface it, Brick had 2 wins all year, and we were not playing well. We were not playing together. We were not, it just was one of those games you have in a season, and I was off dealing with something else, and Coach Arminio, who is very, very soft-spoken, he'll admit it to everybody, he laid into the team on the bench. Absolutely, I've never seen anything like it. Freaked out, and from then on, we had like 2-3 minutes left in the game, and we really kind of put it together and scrapped out a win. Just kind of like a little moment I remember in the season where, we lose a game like that, and our PowerPoints get us down to playing the 1 seed, in the second round. It was a really, really good moment for him and for our staff. It was really, really awesome. So Coach Arminio, thank you for everything you did this year. He actually picked up pizza tonight too and dropped it off to a couple of houses. So really appreciate that. He's an absolute worker. All right. Coach Olson was our volunteer coach this year. I've known Coach Olson probably longer than anybody in the program. My father actually coached him when he was the center, and he was taller than everybody. And then everybody caught up to him, and then he was just a regular player. So great at taking charges, though. 35 charges in a year. In one season, 35 charges his senior year for East. It's pretty incredible. I think we had maybe 10 all year as a team. So I was really looking for a volunteer coach. I was having trouble finding somebody, and just in a conversation with Coach Olson, he was like, I'd love to come on and just scout and just kind of be there and be around. I was like, well, it's not good enough. You're going to come on and be a full-time assistant. And he welcomed me with open arms. He really brought a positive vibe and kind of like that brother in the locker room with that older brother feel. And we were shooting something like 35% as a team from the free throw line for the first 10 games, which every player watching right now knows how much we practice free throws, and the fact that we were shooting 35% was just crazy. And he kind of introduced a new way of accountability with our free throws in practice, and we really kind of took off from there. So Coach Olson, hopefully you come back next year, please. Thank you for everything. And thank you for your service as well. He's a state trooper, and everything's kind of crazy right now, so please stay safe and just keep yourself healthy. All right. All right, the hardest working man in our program, well, let's not get crazy. He's maybe the busiest man in our program, Coach Weber. When I got the job in the spring, I sat down with Coach Weber, and I wanted him to be my lead assistant. We had like a 2-hour conversation just about philosophy and basketball and things we wanted to change and see how we wanted to build the program. And all of our ideas and philosophies were in lockstep with each other. Just a really cerebral person who understands the game and can kind of see things from a different angle, especially when I'm kind of just going crazy seeing something else. He's really kind of focusing on parts of the game that I'm not identifying, and I really leaned on him a lot this year, especially me not being in the building. I told him when I offered the job to him, I said, dude, you got to be my in the building guy, because I tried crazy to get to the building. Just didn't happen this year. Hopefully it happens soon. And he welcomed out open arms. He took care of problems in school, issues that arose, took care of a lot of stuff, getting the gym ready, getting balls out, sweeping the floor, like little logistic things you wouldn't think about being in the building, but because he was there, kind of really just took that burden off of me as I was racing down Bay Avenue to get to practice. And I really appreciate Coach. Everything I know, every time I played against Coach or coached against him, his teams were just played so hard, like crazy hard. You go up against a Coach Weber's team, and you're in for a dogfight no matter what. And his teams kind of just always had that year after year, and he's just been a staple in this program for a while. So Coach Weber and my entire coaching staff, I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys. Really appreciate you. Okay. So how we're going to do is I'm kind of going to go through our freshman program, our JV program. Normally, freshman coaches would go through every player. They'd walk up, get their certificate. We don't really have that kind of time. And freshmen, sophomore, juniors, you guys are going to get your banquet next year. This is kind of going to be primarily focused on the varsity, but I did want to talk a little bit about the two programs. And after I'm done with the JV program, we'll take a little 2-minute break. I'll set up for the varsity, and I'll go through our varsity roster with everybody. But as a new coach, when a freshman program comes in, you have no idea what's going to come in. Right? You hear things, you get some input from the middle school coaches, but you don't really know until you see it. And we had a really successful freshman program, 15-3, I believe the record was. And it wasn't so much the record; it was when I would go to practice and see what they're doing, and it's competitive. Like every kid wants to be better there, and that's the kind of mindset we have to build as a program. Do we want to just keep being regular old East, or do we want to push us to the next level? Okay, and our senior class kind of got us going this way, and we have to keep pushing with it. And the freshman class really looks like they want to, be that program and be that class that kind of just gets us over the edge. Everything was very competitive, super high basketball IQ team. Coach Arminio had, I think, more plays than we did. Just from watching practice, my father would go to practices and he'd be like, "Tom, this is really going to be, a very cerebral group and an important group for our program." And that's something that is a testament to them, testament to coach, and the work they put in for it. Is really something awesome. So now you have expectations on you, right? Your group was 15-3. You're now the next group, right? You'll be the first group I have for all 4 years. You have to really, really push to get to where you want to be. Do you want to be regular Tom's River, or do we want to keep going way up? And that's the goal for everybody. And if you look behind me, we have 7 seniors in the program, and that's a lot of seniors for a program. Usually you have 4 or 5. Last year we had 1, right? So you had 12 freshmen on your team. If you do the math, not all 12 are going to compete and be here. So you have to kind of compete and just who wants it more, who's going to want to stay in the program and keep going and keep getting better, keep grinding. But we have high expectations for that group, and rightfully so. They earned it. They went to the quarterfinals, I believe, against Brick Memorial. Brick Memorial had to bring down all their varsity freshmen to play in that game, which you guys competed in and it was great. So now you have a little fuel, you have a little motivation going forward against that group. So congrats on a great year. My freshman team, you guys really exceeded my expectations, and looking forward to see what's next. We don't really know what schedules are like, but I told my guys we'll be putting out schedules for summer stuff and fall, and we'll see how the year kind of goes from there. But congrats on a great year. Next up, we got our JV program, and one thing about the East JV program, because Coach Weber's been here for I don't know how long, they're gonna compete their tail off. Like it's out of control. There's no nights off when you're playing the East JV team. There's really no nights off. And I'll be completely honest with you, because I was so focused in the summertime and the fall, and just trying to get this my first experience with the varsity group and learning their tendencies. I didn't spend a lot of time with the JV team, so we had no idea what kind of expectations to come into the season with. But I knew that Coach Weber's group is going to compete no matter what. So we started off a little rocky, and then they started finding their groove a little bit and started reeling off a couple wins, and they really had a great competitive season, culminating in they were a 14 seed because of that early kind of bump in the beginning of the year, and they were a 13 seed. They were playing a 4-seeded Ewing and winning the whole game. I went to the game at South. They're winning the whole game, competing the whole game, and Ewing is taking the lead back, and they're taking it right back, not backing down. Ewing is in the final of that tournament almost every single year. So that was really encouraging to see, because I learned a lot about that group of people, that group of kids who are going to be our leaders next year, right? We have our next junior class coming up, our sophomores coming up. You guys are now the face of the program. So you have to kind of take that with a little bit of an edge and say, hey, what are we going to let this program be? Are we going to be super successful, build on what we've done here? Or are we just kind of going to just let it happen? We're playing for fun, whatever. We really want to push each other to be better, and especially in that Ewing game, that showed me a lot about a lot of people. Just scrappy, tough. That's really the East DNA. Just tough, feisty kids who were just going to just make it a dogfight no matter what. And that was really encouraging to see. It didn't end up with a win, but I think there was a 2-point game or something like that, and they had the lead with under a minute. It was really competitive game. I just want to congratulate you guys on a great season. Coach Weber did a great job with those guys, and there's a lot of some guys going swing, JV, varsity, and practice this, and it's a lot of work for some swing JV guys, and just wanted to give you guys a good shout out for that. It's a lot of miles as a sophomore, junior. You guys are doing a lot of work. You're practicing with the JV and practicing with varsity, so it's really was a great competitive season from you guys. Okay. All right, we're gonna take a little 2-minute break, get back to the varsity, and then we'll kind of finish up there. I'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. We're going to try and do the varsity group a little bit here, talk a little bit about their season. I got off the chair here. I couldn't sit anymore. I was like getting antsy. So I'll go over varsity a little bit. We'll go over the roster. I have some awards. We'll go over our senior gifts back here. We'll say our goodbyes, and that'll be it. All right. So I'll start with when I got the job in the summer. You are excited to get a job. You're super pumped to be a head coach. But the first thing that hits you quickly is you have to develop relationships with these boys, these young men, as quick as you can, because you have so much work to do, so much terminology learning, so much system learning, scheme learning. What do players do well? What do they not do well? So it was really, the summer was really important for us just to kind of learn and get familiar with each other. And I tried to keep everything as positive as possible. Some of you parents saw us at the summer league. We were just playing ball, just seeing what we had. We had no rhyme or reason, no plays, anything like that. We just wanted to see what we had and kind of just develop habits and kind of put philosophies in and go from there. Okay. And I had this great idea and great philosophies of coming in and running this. It's called the Villanova style offense, where you have 4 people around the perimeter, and we had 1 big guy. We had a very solid big guy. And quickly I learned that you cannot fit square pegs into round holes. It sounds really, really stupid and really, really simple, but first 5, 6, 7 games of our season, I'm scratching my head like, why is the system not working? This is tailor-made to our personnel, and it was just a moment in the season where I had to kind of adjust what we were doing. At that moment, we kind of switched to something called the spread, where it was 5 people out, and you had a couple creators, and you had movement and rules and principles based on what each individual could do. And then part of it was realizing that, hey, Coach Driggy, you have 2 of the best guards in the shore. Maybe you should just get out of their way. Let them do that. But, hey, it worked out for us. We got a little bit of a run. We kind of corrected our season. We went on from there. I personally never ran spread offense, but when you have 2 creators like Mike and Ryan, you kind of just let them go. And you have slashers on the wing and shooters. You let the big guys set screens, and it really, really started working for us. And getting healthy helps as well. We started the season with Riley coming off a football injury, Mike coming off football, gets hurt in the preseason. Ryan gets hurt in the first minute of the first game. Roma had an injury. Higgins had an injury. RC gets hurt. We had probably 8 or 9 injuries in the season. And it really took us a while to get going. Once we got everybody healthy, we looked like one of the better teams in the shore. Unfortunately for us, we played a lot of our tough games in the first 7 or 8 games of the season. So it was kind of just unlucky the way it fell. But we really took care of business when we needed to reel off some wins and go from there. I scheduled a tough schedule on purpose. We didn't want to play, we didn't want to go play Brick or go play Lacey a million times. We wanted to play Marlboro and New Brunswick and RBC and some tough schedules because we wanted to see what we were made of. We weren't going to play lower level teams when we got to the state tournament, so we wanted to try ourselves against upper echelon teams, and we really competed against most of the teams. A lot of the time we came up short, but all those games, we win 1 or 2 of those games, and we're a different seed in states, and maybe the story's a little bit different. But really, really proud of the way we competed no matter what, especially during those tough times. We first scrimmage of the season, Mike Goodall rolls his ankle in the second quarter, and we kind of have to scramble our roster. Then the first game, Ryan Goodall gets hurt, and we kind of have to really scramble again. Riley's still working his way back, and it really just it was like mixing a puzzle together to get it to work. And once we hit that 7 or 8 game mark, we really started to click a little bit and go from there. Just a little, run as our state tournament went on. We kind of went on a little run at the end and put us in position as the 10 seed. And the way the PowerPoints work is if we had beaten New Brunswick, if many of you were at that game, we lost by 4, and we were winning the whole game, we would have been a 5 seed. So 1 win brought us down all the way down to a 10 seed, which we knew we'd be on the road for most of the states, however long we went. And I knew that this was our kids' goal, really, was the state tournament. So we really, really wanted to make sure we're prepared and make sure we took care of everything. So we get matched up against a Highland team who's 7 in our bracket. And when I watched 12, 13 films on them, they are a good team. They were one of the better teams in South Jersey. We went into that building and made them look like they didn't know what they were doing. We wound up winning by 30. I think Mike had 40 points, 10 rebounds, 6 steals. Ryan had 20 points. Reese hit like 4 threes. It was just our culmination of we finally got healthy. We were pissed off at everything, and we just kind of went for it and just laid the wood down there at Highland. That was probably our best game. It was my most fun coaching moment definitely of the year. it was something crazy to watch. And sometimes I go back and I watch the highlights and I'm like, man, we were really, really humming. So that brings us into our state game, our quarterfinal game against Timber Creek. Who, if you don't know anything about Timber Creek, they were number 19 in the state at the time we played them, 2 seeded in our bracket. They were actually the 1 seed for most of the year. In the last couple games, they got bumped down in power points. But another game where we were super prepared, had everything. We had alumni come in and practice just to kind of simulate certain things, different level of athleticism, but we knew we had certain areas we could attack, and we took it to them too. Like we ran to 8-point lead early on, so much that the coach subbed all 5 of his guys out, brought his whole bench in. We was back and forth all game. We just kind of ran out of gas. It really came down to 2 possessions. We ended up losing by, I think, 6 or 7. We had it down 2 with like 50 seconds left, and we really, really took it to them. They had no idea what hit them. Coach after the game told me, he said, that's the toughest game we played all year, which is not something you really want to hear when you got beat, but hey, it's a little consolation prize. So that run really showed me what kind of men I had in that locker room, and it showed me that. And I told them that after the game. It showed me that this group of seniors, this varsity group was going to be successful in life because they competed when times weren't going their way. We had 17 million injuries, and we still competed. We had a horrible seed because of some power points. We still competed and knocked our way back. So I was really proud of the group, the way they did that. And just kind of overall our run in general was really, really cool. And it's kind of sets the precedent for the future of our group. Like, hey, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, you guys saw what that run was like. So now you have to take your opportunity and move it up and try to push our program up further from there. Okay. So I'm going to start with our varsity players. Try and go in age order here. We'll start with the youngest, and we'll go up to our seniors, juniors, and seniors, and we'll go from there. Okay. So our first varsity certificate, varsity letter, and this is going to be backwards on the screen. Oh, maybe they just fixed it. Is from Manny Vargas, who is a freshman that we brought up late in the year for the state run. And it was somebody who kind of took us by storm and got his opportunity by happenstance. We had major injuries for JV. We had 3 or 4 kids out sick. We had a couple kids who weren't cleared yet, and Coach Weber had 5 or 6 players for a game. So he turned to me and he goes, "Hey, Coach, we have 5, 6 players for this game. Do we have a freshman we could maybe move up and play just a quarter or 2?" And so Coach Arminio and myself, we suggested bringing up Manny to try and play a quarter, and he really, really took that opportunity and burst onto the scene with it. He's just a feisty competitor, someone who's going to be in this program for a while. If he really, really works at his game, is going to be a leader, a major player in this program for a long time. And it was kind of interesting seeing our seniors interact with him, because I'm sure our senior group got the freshman treatment when they were up, and it's just kind of funny as the cycle of life kind of goes. Manny kind of took it, embraced it. He was really, really awesome with it. Became kind of like our goofball on the bench, but really, really expecting big things from him, and he knows it, right? He knows that level. He was down in Timber Creek and Highland. He saw the level that he needs to get at to compete the next level. So we're super excited for him. So congrats on a great season, Manny. I'll bring this to you tomorrow. Okay. All right, moving on to our junior group, our junior swing group. Hey, Mike Anselmo is someone who I had very little history with or understanding of, but then Coach Weber would say that this point guard we have is so feisty. He's so feisty as a junior, and he was at a point where he was playing JV and varsity, and we had to play him major minutes in the varsity early in the year because of our injuries, and he was competing with A South high level guards. He was really, really competing. He does some things in practice that you're like, you turn your head and you go, whoa, like that was incredible. And then he does some things where you go, whoa. So that's the stuff he needs to work on. And if he can get to that whoa consistent, then he'll be a great player. But he's going to be one of our cornerstones next year. He plays every possession with an edge, just like a feisty nastiness. He's really, really somebody we're going to be leaning on next year. Listen, my junior class, we're graduating 45 points per game. So someone's got to score the ball. Someone's got to step up. I'm expecting Mike to be one of those people as we move forward. Okay, so congrats on a great season, Mike. All right. Okay, our next junior is going to be Nico Swenson. Nico's somebody we brought up a little bit later in the year, probably about halfway through the year. We knew we were going to bring him up at some point. It just kind of fell that way as we moved on. Just a knock-dead shooter, right? You leave him open, he's going to make it. It's very simple. And something I noticed about him when I watched that Ewing quarterfinal game, he was just competitive, like competing with high-level athletes and just is none of those guys who has to take this opportunity and just run with it, right? Like I said, 45 points per game is graduating. We need somebody to score the ball. Okay, Nico can light it up. I believe he was the leading scorer on JV. Can really, really light it up. Got a good attitude, good energy. Just going to be really competitive next year. Hopefully, he takes that junior class and get everybody together, and we just kind of roll with it. All right. So, congrats on a great season, Nico. All right. Oh, I didn't hold yours up, Nico. There we go. So yeah, I promise I have it. All right, Xavier class. Somebody that was one of the first people I met. He was at every single thing in the summer, every practice, every game I asked him to go to. Just a very, very skilled guard, right? Sometimes played a little bit out of position this year on JV because we were so small. Once we kind of put some bigs into the equation, he really kind of found his groove. When Xavier plays with confidence, he is a great player. If he doesn't play with confidence, then he's guardable. So Xavier, you have to take this to the next level. And I say to everybody, it's competition, right? No one can guard you when you're playing with confidence, right? He showed moments of that in JV where you turn around and go, that was Xavier? And that was really, really awesome to see. Hopefully he takes that, just the same kind of message with the juniors. Take that opportunity here and try to be a scorer for us. Try to be an impact player for us going up, right? Congrats on a great season, Xavier. All right, Dylan Hall. Tall Dylan Hall, okay? Dylan is somebody we knew was going to be our backup center on varsity no matter what. And it was a situation where Riley had to be playing extra minutes in the beginning of the year, and we really wanted to get Dylan some time. So I approached him, I said, Dylan, you're not being demoted to JV. I really need to just get you some time to get your legs going. He welcomed that with open arms. He said, no problem, coach, and started getting 2 3/4 JV, and then he started getting better and better and more confidence. And then midway through the season, we're throwing him in varsity games, and he's an impact player. It was a game, I forget who we were playing, but he had like 5 or 6 rebounds in a row, 2 or 3 blocks, a layup. And that's the kind of impact we're going to need. He's our center. We don't have too many big people in the program, right? So you really have to take that with a grain of salt and kind of just put that on your shoulder and say, hey, I'm going to be the anchor down low, and this is my kind of paint to protect, much like Riley did for us this year. Hopefully you stay on the court more than Riley did, though. Congrats on a great season, Dylan. Sorry, Riley. I had to take one little shot at you. Come on. All right, Charlie Monica, who has the most appropriate nickname in our program, and I'm going to give Coach Weber credit to this. We were at a practice just watching shoot around, and Weber turns around to me and he goes, Charlie has the most appropriate nickname for his game style. And I go, what's that? And he goes, Chuck. Charlie does not care where he's shooting from. He has no conscience. It's going to go up no matter what. And part of me loves that. Hey, you got to have some confidence to going in there. Just let it fly, right? Now he has to evolve as a player and see when and where to take those shots and when to get hot, when you're going hot, when you're going cold, try to adapt your game a little bit. He's going to be our returning leading scorer for this year. Okay, so next year he has a lot on his plate as far as scoring the basketball. And like I said, I'm repeating myself a million times, but juniors, we got to get the ball in the basket. Right? You're graduating a lot of points, so we got to take some guys who want to just put that ball in the hoop and kind of go from there. There were some games where Charlie kind of kept us in it with some corner threes and just kind of kept our momentum going, saved us a couple games, we were kind of stagnant, and bang, who did a little three, right? So congrats on a great season, Charlie. I think Charlie's working right now. Hopefully he's watching. Okay. Mark Roma, okay, no stranger to varsity basketball. I believe this was his second year. Next year will be his third. Was somebody who I was extremely impressed with in the summer. Really just kind of was a Swiss Army knife. Could play multiple positions, handle the ball, play down low, play against the zone, slasher, could shoot. Doesn't get a lot of credit for it, but really, really sacrificed these couple years playing a role where he was kind of like the glue guy, trying to guard certain people, being a slasher on offense, when really he has a skill set that can be, a 10, 15-point scorer a game if he chooses to be that way. Okay? If he puts in the work, puts in the time, takes this opportunity next year with a really, really like a race car, just go with it. Just really, really sacrificed in order for the better of the team. And that's something I'll always remember about Mark, because he is the ultimate glue guy. If Mark's playing well, our team's usually playing well. Okay, so we expect big things out of Mark next year. Congrats on a great season, Mark. Okay, going to get into my seniors here. All right, Ryan Sicardo, RC, was such a joy to be around during my entire year. He has a phenomenal relationship with my brother, which I can't be more thankful for. Unfortunately for Ryan, just his shoulder didn't hold up all year. He was really playing well in the beginning of the year, preseason, and just kind of had that nagging injury and decided to shut it down for baseball, which understandably so. That was his sport. But did have his moment in our senior night. He was kind of timid about approaching me about playing. And I said, Ryan, do you want to play? You tell me yes or no, I'll put you in the game. And he wound up playing, and the first shot he took went in as a 3. So that was kind of a really, really cool moment as a senior, and a good way to be sent off in his senior year. Unfortunately, they didn't have a baseball season, which really sucks. But he is going to continue his academic and athletic career at Rowan next year. So congrats on a great season, RC. Love you, buddy. All right, give me 1 second. I'll grab these over here. All right, Naseem Davis. Somebody I remember coaching against when I was on that worst side of town over there, that blue and yellow garbage. Really was thrust into a role this year that we weren't prepping him for. Ryan Goodall, starting point guard, gets hurt with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter of the first game, and then has to miss the next 5 or 6 games. Nas is thrust right into a starting point guard role, and Nas held down that role really, really well. Did a lot of things that aren't going to show up in that stat sheet I gave you guys or that box score, but would play the press really well, would guard certain people, and every once in a while when he would get pissed off, he would just go right by somebody, give him a little wiggle, and the layup would go in. Nas was really like the energy guy at practice. Like if we were having a dull practice, Nas would just start screaming nonsense, and we would start getting going. It was really like an energy guy. When we were pressing, he really had like that D-back, that cornerback instinct to play the middle of the court, get some steals for us. We have these post-game awards that I give out. Every win we have certain awards, and they're called certain things. So the next couple guys I'm going to give awards to are from culminating of our awards for the postseason, our wins. Every time we have a post-game win, we go through a little charade where we give out awards. So Nas is going to get our more than a box score award. Okay, won it a bunch of times throughout the year. Just everything he does isn't going to show up on the box score, but it's a glue guy. It's going to keep us all together. All right, so congratulations, Nas. All right. The next senior I've coached for the only player I coached for 2 years. Okay, Ryan Higgins, who I had back when I was on that other side of town. I had as a sophomore on JV, and I always used to tell him, and you can ask him right now. I told him every game. I said, Ryan, no one in this gym is going to be more athletic than you. Okay? You go be a freak, go be an athlete, go be above the rim, go be better than everybody else out here. And there were some games where Ryan looks like you turn your head and you go, wow. Like that's a crazy athletic play. I think our second game of the year, he had 14, 15 points, all in like the second and third quarter against Central, who has 3 phenomenal big guys. So Ryan was really, really athletic, just super, super good kid. We had an award at the end of the season or at every game called Superman. And it was if you did something kind of crazy, or and Higgs would be the one we'd be looking to. He'd throw down a dunk, or he'd do something ridiculously athletic. He's going to be going to OCC next year, I think, in an attempt to play basketball there. Ryan's going to be our winner of our Superman Award. Okay, so our year-long Superman Award. Congrats, Ryan. All right, Reese Miller. Okay, Reese is a coach's dream, right? Yes, coach. Yes, sir. What do you need me to do, coach? Available all the time, on time for everything. Just really, really a coach's dream. And, somebody like, I say this about all my kids, but somebody I really wish I had for more than 1 year. Just because he knew his role perfectly, knew his deficiencies, knew his effectiveness, and just kind of tried to work on those and try to perfect the other way. He was, I approached him at the beginning of the year. I said, Reese, we're going to have a role for you on this team. And he said, Coach, I already know what it is. So I'm going to hit corner threes. I'm going to play defense. And that's really all you can ask for as a coach. Coach, a kid who knows his role, that's all you can ask for. And really, I believe he was in the top 50 in three-pointers made this year, and constantly winning our three-point award at the end of every game. He's going to go play baseball at Belmont Abbey down in North Carolina. Obviously, he didn't have a baseball season, but really, really proud of you, Reese. Reese is going to get our, I had to change the name, guys, Beyond the Arc Award. Okay, just a knockdown shooter. Congrats, Reese, on a great season. All right, our resident knucklehead, Riley Engelhart. Okay, when I first met all of our guys in a little meeting, Riley was just kind of like shell shocked at who I was. He just had his head down, wasn't sure who the new coach was. Just kind of like deer in the headlights. Once he started warming up to me a little bit, really started to take off. Riley came into the season with what we call that football rust, right? Like just trying to shake that football off to get back into basketball shape. And once he did, he started really, really humming. Had a couple games where it was like 18 points, 20 rebounds, 12 points, 17 rebounds, 4 or 5 blocks. Had a really, really was a beast for us underneath the basket. And one thing I kind of wrote down about it in that state game against Timber Creek, when Riley was in foul trouble all game, and it was not warranted. It was some of the worst calls I've ever seen. Ticky-tack calls that kind of just keep them on the field or keep them on the court. And he was I have it written down, he was a +8 when we were on the floor. Plus minus is a basketball stat that you kind of just tell when you're on the floor, what is the team doing? Riley was a +8, so we were up by 8 when Riley was on the floor. When Riley was out of the game, we were a -15 in that particular game. So that should tell you all you need to know about how he protected the paint, protected our defense, was the anchor that allowed the other guards to kind of run crazy around and go risk for steals and kind of double team and do kind of traps and all that, because Riley was behind them shutting everything down the lane. I think he wound up 4th in rebounds in the Shore, 5th in blocks, which probably is higher because everybody pads their stats. So he probably was a little higher than that. Riley got recruited to play basketball and football. I think he just texted me 10 minutes ago. He decided to play football at Monmouth University. So congrats, Riley. Our lockdown defender, Riley Engelhardt. Great job. All right, I got 2 left, and they know each other. All right, Ryan Goodall. Okay, there's so many things to describe Ryan. Tenacious, good shooter, skilled, point guard, can steal. Going crazy, 100 miles an hour. But the most important thing you can say about Ryan is his work ethic. He is tireless on the floor. I had a conversation with my father a couple weeks ago, and we were just talking about the season and what's going to be graduating this, that, and he said Ryan just never got tired. He was running around like a madman the entire season. And sometimes as a coach, you don't see it because you're just banking on the point guard controlling everything. So sometimes I didn't even give it enough recognition where he would be just controlling the entire game. And I turn around and I go, Vin, what's Ryan? He's got 25. I go, oh, cool. And he's got 6 steals. So really, really just kind of set the tone for us. Unfortunately, had that injury in the beginning of the year that really kind of threw him off a little bit. And then once he got going, it really started to pick up. And I think he had 26, 28 at South, really pulled us from defeat because we were going to lose to South at South, and Ryan didn't let it happen. Just really, really a great kid and just a worker, right? In practice, he's working from when we start to when we finish, and he's going to shoot a little bit after, right? Just an absolute worker. RG could have easily played basketball in college, but he got a great offer to play baseball at TCNJ. Very proud of you, RG. Ryan was our leader, was our captain. Quite literally, he was the winner of this award probably a dozen times during the regular season. So it's fitting that he would get our Man Amongst Boys award. Okay, that's a 4-year man right there, 4-year varsity player. Congrats, RG, on a great season, a great career. Okay. All right. Last but not least, the Golden Boy. He loves when I call him the Golden Boy. Okay. Mike Goodall, Mike G. Much like his cousin, there's so many things you could start with the Goodalls. Their work ethic is out of control. Skill level, they were trained, they were taught how to prepare, how to play the correct way. I'm going to tell a story about the first encounter I had with Mike. It was not this year. It was not the year before. It was when Mike was a freshman playing JV, coaching against me, or playing against me on the other side of town. And he's dominating us. He might have had 18 or 20 as a freshman on JV. And he's probably laughing at home because they tell the story all the time because I'm pissed at him. We're tie game back and forth, East-North game, and I think we were up by 1 with like 3 seconds left. They had the ball, inbound comes to Mike. Mike takes a step, shoots a shot, fade away. I think it's a 2-pointer, but it's probably on the line, whatever. Doesn't go in. I'm turning around, I'm screaming, yes, thank God. And I hear the whistle blow for a foul with no time on the clock. So I'm beside myself. I'm freaking out because it wasn't a foul. And Mike will tell you that right now, it wasn't a foul, Mike. And I turn to my coaches behind me and I go, this little scrawny freshman is not making these free throws. There's no way. But in the back of my mind, when I said that, I was kind of like, this punk's going to make them. I just kind of had that vibe. I had that feel. And sure enough, he gets up and doesn't touch the rim. Swish, swish, two. They win. I get a loss, our first loss of the season, and I'm pissed for the rest of the night. That was my introduction to Mike Goodall. And that killer instinct, that competitiveness, that drive, that we're not losing tonight drive, you can see it when he, and you guys should go back and watch the tape. You watch during intros, his eyes are locked in on something like he's a madman. And he's so focused on what he's doing. And the kid scored 1,000 points in 2 years. You know, he wound up at 1475, I believe, which is second all time in the school's history. He had a 46, which is a school record in one game. He had 40, 10, and 6 in a state game I mentioned earlier. Averaged 22 a game for 2 straight years. Just an absolute beast. You know, and the greatest thing I can say about Mike is he is a worker. And it's the same, same what I said about Ryan. They're after practice every day. Mike is after practice every day, making himself sick, running back and forth, shooting back and forth. And I hope that our younger kids kind of take after them and see that's how you're supposed to work. Practice is over, I'm getting 50 shots up as fast as I can, making myself sick. Right? And that's just extra work, extra preparation, and it's something you can't teach. Right? You just have to will yourself to want to be great. And Mike was truly great. So our 2019-2020 most valuable player, Michael Goodall. Congrats, buddy. And I will say one thing about Ryan and Mike, just as a conclusion here. It's very rare you get to play your entire career with your close cousin, your best friend, right? So, you know, those guys really took that and just kind of like made the most of it, right? Made the most of playing with your brother your entire life. And I'm really, really proud of those guys. Proud of our entire senior class, really. You guys are really, really special group to me. You'll be the first senior class I ever have. Please always come back into the gym, come into practice, knock around these young guys a little bit. You're always welcome back. Really appreciate that. Okay. All right. So, if you look behind me, okay, I'll try and get out of the way as much as I can here. I worked with our athletic department this year. The gray uniforms are a pain in the neck because you have to get a state letter that says you can wear them in state games because they have to be white. So I kind of talked to our ADs and I said, hey, I got an idea for senior gifts. Can we give the seniors their jerseys back? We'll use the white ones we have in the closet. We'll use black ones we have. We'll just go white and black for the rest of the way. And they agreed. So we used our fundraising money. We kind of bought some frames for the guys. So all your jerseys are going back to you guys that you wore, framed for you guys. Really hope you enjoy it. There's directions on how to do everything in there. I put them all in there for you guys. Just a little acknowledgement. Hopefully we can continue to do stuff like this. The athletic department was really, really generous letting us do that. We don't get a lot as it is, so we just kind of, it was really, really cool they did that. There's picture frames in there. You guys can put pictures in it. Really, really neat. So congrats to our seniors again, one last time. And let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. Oh, very important. Okay. Tomorrow, seniors, juniors, varsity guys, I'm dropping this stuff off at your houses at 10 o'clock in the morning, starting. So don't be on Fortnite and Call of Duty till 3 a.m. Make sure you're up. I'm coming over 10 o'clock, dropping this stuff. I'll have certificates. I'll have your varsity letters and pins, your senior gifts, everybody on varsity. The freshman and JV programs, I'm going to find a way to get them to you guys. I believe a couple of parents had offered, so if you guys want to kind of figure out a way where it's as little interaction as possible, just kind of with everything going on, we'll kind of figure out how to get your certificates to you guys from there. Really, in closing, just want to congratulate you guys on an awesome season. It was awesome for me, first year in the program. You know, I may be from North, but I grew up an East kid. I grew up on Overlook Drive for 15 years of my life. So I'm glad I could be back on this side of town and hopefully continue to grow this program where we know it can be, right? It hasn't always been, you know, the most notable basketball program, but this senior group is kind of taking us this way and responsible for pushing us up this ladder. Now it's on the younger guys to take us up even more, right? So it's on the freshmen, sophomore, juniors. Take this opportunity, get better, get us going up, and we'll go on from there. I'm sure I'm missing a million things. Let me just make sure real quick. I believe that's it, okay? All right, I will be in touch with all you guys. My sophomore, juniors, freshmen, I'll be in touch with you guys about summer workouts, and hopefully we can do some stuff in the gym. I don't know if they'll let us. Hopefully we can be outside, do some stuff, just get us ready for the season so when it does happen, we can kind of go from there. I know I'm Italian and I talk with my hands a lot, so if I did a lot of this and this, just deal with it. All right, I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Any questions, email me. Obviously, any issues, please email me. I get back as fast as I can. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great summer.